There's an idea out there that this is political cover, and that's put out by a couple of people who are not familiar with the Oakland situation, which I understand. But the simple fact of the matter is the plan that was officially released today has really existed for some time and is the work of not just the current mayor, Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf, but three mayors, starting with, well, actually working backward, Oakland Mayor Jean Quan, and before her, that's right, Oakland Mayor Ron Dellums. It was under Oakland Mayor Ron Dellums that the first efforts the second efforts to build a stadium for the Oakland Athletics started. But it was the first time that Coliseum City, and therefore the rumblings of a plan to build a new stadium for the Oakland Raiders began. That really started in 2004 with Frank Dobson's plan to put retail around the Coliseum Stadium, which would have benefited both the A's and the Raiders. Then it morphed into a new plan for the Oakland Athletics, which had already been active going back to 2000. That's how we got hard at the terminal. But Frank Dobson's idea was essentially adopted by Oakland District 7 Councilman Larry Reed, and Coliseum City was born. It was Larry Reed working with Fred Blackwell when he was the assistant city administrator who formed the concept for Coliseum City and a plan for a stadium for the Oakland Raiders. The Oakland Raiders had a fantastic relationship, I might add, with Fred Blackwell. They missed him very much. Now, Blackwell, under Oakland Mayor Jean Quan, went from, well, he was first an head of economic development, then he was made assistant city administrator, and then for a time became city administrator under Quan. But when it was clear that Quan wasn't going to win, he resigned. But during his time with Quan, the infrastructure plan that is in the current proposal for the Oakland Raiders' new stadium started back then. That was 2011. The financing for it had been in place for some time. The broad brushstrokes of the infrastructure plan, later filled in, were done between 2011 and today. So a great deal of credit has to go to those people. Now, yes, Oakland, because of ranked choice voting, changes in overall society, and a number of other elements like, for example, the strong mayor system, which allows the mayor to hire and fire the city administrator, have resulted in a situation where we've had essentially one city administrator every 1.77 years. So it was very difficult to maintain a skunk works of people that were always focused on Coliseum City. But having said that, the idea survived. During that time, the Raiders, it must be said, never initiated conversations to build a new stadium in Oakland. They were brought along in an iterative way. But the Raiders never came to the city of Oakland with a sketch or fiscal concept expressing the need for a new stadium in Oakland. Many conversations had to do with the current master lease agreement. A number of adjustments and amendments were made. And for a time, the Raiders' rent was so low that the Oakland-Alameda County Coliseum Joint Powers Authority was running a deficit. That all changed when current executive director Scott McKibben came in and worked negotiating magic to get a deal that has brought the Joint Powers Authority back into the black. The general plan upon which Coliseum City sits was formed between 2014 and it was voted into place in 2015. Public hearings are already held. The environmental impact report's already done. So all of that time it takes to really properly develop an area has been done. So when someone says this is political cover, they don't know what they're talking about at all. No, this is the end result, and it's not even the end at all, but it's a major result of the work of people who've operated under the last three mayors of Oakland.